One really great accessory is actually this holster, kind of like a cowboy in the Wild West. You can just be drawing your secateurs anytime you get a chance to get some cuttings. How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. In this video we're going to be comparing cheap secateurs to the flagship Felco number 8. Just to start with, I want to let you know that we don't get sponsored by Felco or any other tool making company. We are just looking at these tools and we bought them with our own money, and we've been using them for years, and we just want you to benefit from our experience, and hopefully that will save you making the same mistakes that we made, and also hopefully it will help you enjoy your garden maintenance work as well by buying good quality tools and it being a pleasure to use them. Here in Ireland we have Aldi and Lidl, and of course as you're walking through doing a bit of shopping you'll come across all kinds of different specials like these secateurs for about €3.50. That's what it used to be anyway, and they're okay, they do work, but they're not very good for daily use. I would definitely recommend buying a secateurs like that for as little as €3 or €4 if you don't have any, and if you can't afford a good one for now. They work fine, but I wouldn't like to have to use it all the time for hours a day. I would definitely keep some of these on hand as a spare, especially in the car and in the van. Always keep a spare secateurs, you never know where you might be able to get a few cuttings. Always ask first before you take cuttings. So this one here is conveniently enough actually a red colour, which means you can always find it if you drop it in the grass. Ask me how I know. So these are made in Switzerland by Felco, and I found these ones to be absolutely the best ones. The number 8 is the most ergonomic. It really fits like a glove when you're holding it, so it's very ergonomic. But also I find the lock to be very good, and the spring is very good too. Those ones do go missing sometimes though, so you have to buy a couple of spares. You see that? That can just come out, and then you have no spring, and then the only way to use it, if you have no spring, you can still use it, but you just have to do this, kind of open it manually, which is not ideal, so we'll put the spring back in. That said, I haven't lost very many springs like these, maybe 2 of them over the years. It's always good to have a spare those though. But so on these kind of secateurs, the steel is much better quality and it stays sharp for much longer, and you can sharpen it very easily. We use various different tools to sharpen our secateurs. We use files sometimes and sharpening stones. You can use water or oil stones as well, same as for sharpening a knife. And you can also exchange. You can actually open this here and you can take out the blade, and you can buy those and replace them, that blade part. Now of course there's a big difference in price between this and this. So this one is about €3 or €4, and the Felco would be about €60 to €65. But this one you can basically keep it for a lifetime. It does get a little bit wiggly or disjointed after a while. It does become loose a little bit, so you kind of have to tighten that bolt sometimes, maybe every year or so. But other than that, we have had these kind of secateurs for a long time now, and they're excellent. I'll show you now. They cut so much cleaner than any other type of secateurs, and it's totally worth the investment. Let me just give you an example here. So you can see here, these are the willows, and I'll just give you an example here. Although the spring is a little squeaky, I could oil that now. Don't mind the squeak. And you can see it does get a very clean cut. Now, let me show you the other one. You can tell already that it's not very sharp. You can see here how it doesn't really cut straight through. When it's new, it does cut very well. You can see it takes a lot more effort to cut, and it does not produce as clean a cut. Now compare that to the other cut and you can see. It's just a basic tool, and the quality of the steel is not that good, but for €3 or €4, excellent to have a few spares so you don't ever get stuck. But this one is the one you want to use for daily use, and I always recommend you make the investment. It is a lot of money up front. €65 or €60 is a lot of money for secateurs, but you will be delighted to use it. You'll be rearing to go outside and actually get pruning again. And even when you're doing plants from cuttings, you can grow your own plants from cuttings and root them. And for just generally speaking, even for pruning roses and fruit trees, these are absolutely perfect, and they do a really good job at it. So overall, I would say, to me, this is the best secateurs I've ever used, and I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back to another. That's what he does, Sheldon. He does that, he jumps up onto the bench and then he just chills out. The Felco secateurs, I tell you how I found out about it. I actually was watching a lot of videos of all kinds of people that are into gardening around the world, and actually even Paul Gauci from Back to Eden, he's a professional tree pruner, and some of the other people with nurseries, I saw them actually using this tool, and all of the people with orchards also were using the very same secateurs. So I said, if they're all using the same one, geez, I must give it a go. There must be something to it. And sure enough, it is hands down the best. That said, I'm sure there are many other brands out there. I'm not dissing them, I just haven't used them yet. But I found this one to be the best one I've used. If you know of any other brands of secateurs like Secateurs or whatever, let us know in the comments below which one is your favourite secateurs. Or even let us know in the comments below if you have gotten into temptation and bought one of these while you were out shopping. One really great accessory is actually this holster. And so then you can be kind of like in the Wild West, and you can just draw your secateurs anytime. And it's so handy because you don't have to put it in your pocket and tear a hole in the pocket. It definitely looks like it's a bit worn, but I've only been using it for about half a year now, and it's a really good addition. It's a really good accessory for it. So you can be kind of like a cowboy in the Wild West. You can just be drawing your secateurs anytime you get a chance to get some cuttings. So you can see here, we are technically in the Wild West here, since we're west of the Shannon in Roscommon. So, yeah, it keeps your hands free, and it also takes the weight off your pockets. You don't want to have to put the secateurs in your pockets because you'll probably tear a hole in it eventually. Also, it's the weight of it kind of pulling you down, but once you have it attached to your belt, you're grand. So here's my little evolution of secateurs. So at first I started off with cheaper secateurs from Aldi and Lidl on a budget. Then I went for a Felco 400. This was probably €30 second hand, maybe €25. Not bad, but nowhere near as good as Felco number 8. It's kind of like the Ferrari of secateurs, and it's even the same colour. But you can see here, this is the new one that I have, and it works. It's much smoother and it cuts much cleaner than one of these. This one has been used for 3 years, and you can see how the blade doesn't really close very well anymore, and it kind of does get worn out a little bit. They do require very little maintenance, and there's only so much you can do to maintain them. You can take off this screw, take out the blade, you can clean it all up, tighten it back up, and sharpen the blade, of course. But I usually don't remove the blade to sharpen that. I usually sharpen it with a very fine file, and that does the job. Or a water stone for sharpening knives. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully it's useful information to you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time. And if you're interested in this kind of content, we have lots of no-dig gardening and forest gardening, lasagna gardening kind of videos, and homesteading as well. So take a look at our website, our YouTube channel, or Odyssey, and we will see you later. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. So one of these days we'll do a video on loppers or branch cutters and all about the difference.